Here is our first example of factoring a trinomial, okay? And again, a trinomial just means that it has 3 terms. So if I look at this number 1 down here, 6x squared is one term, negative 15x is one term, and 6 is one term. With factoring a trinomial, please take the time to watch at least 2, 3, 4. This first one, you're going to be like, what the heck? But after that, you're going to start seeing bits and pieces that are repeating or have a pattern. Okay. So your first step when factoring is to always look for a GCF. Okay. So I'm going to look at 6x squared, negative 15x plus 6. And remember, I always like to go to the smallest number, which I have 6. And I'm going to ask myself, can 6 go into 15? No. But what other numbers do I have? I have 2 times 3. Can 3 go into 15? Yes. So I'm going to take out a 3 from all 3 terms. So 6x squared divided by 3 is 2x squared. Negative 15x divided by 3 is negative 5x. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So my GCF is 3. Now that I have found my GCF, I'm going to identify my new ABCs. So my new A, which is next to my x squared, is 2. My new B is negative 5. And my new C is 2. I'm going to fill in this table. So my first column, I'm going to take my A times my C. So my A times my C. So 2 times 2 is 4. And my B is negative 5. I'm going to do the little puzzles that we were just doing. I got to find 2 numbers that when I multiply, I get 4. And when I add, I get a negative 5. So I'm going to start with my counting. 1 times 4. 2 times 2. Okay, and there's no more pairs that work. Of these 2 pairs, which one could I add to get 5? That is 1 and 4. So I'm going to bring over here and do 1 plus 4. Now, if I just add these like R, I would get a positive 5. But I need a negative 5. So I'm going to make them both negative. So negative 1 plus negative 4 gives me negative 5. Negative 1 times negative 4 gives me a positive 4. Okay. The whole reason is I'm going to take these 2 numbers that I found, negative 1 and negative 4, and I'm going to bust up my B term. So instead of writing negative 5x, I'm going to write negative 1x minus 4x. My new A term stays the same, 2x squared, and my C term stays the same. I'm going to come back with my GCF in a little bit. So I've just created an expression that went from 3 terms that now has 4 terms. I'm going to factor by grouping. So I'm going to group the first 2, and I'm only going to look at the first 2. So let me get a shape, and I'm going to cover this side up. Okay. And I'm going to find the GCF, exactly what we were just doing, between 2x squared and negative 1x. Okay, so the biggest thing I see in common is just an x. And I'm going to divide an x out from both terms. So 2x squared divided by x is 2x. Negative 1x divided by x is going to be left with negative 1. Now I'm going to take my square and cover the first pair up. If I can move it over. Okay. And I'm going to group the second pair. So negative 4x squared, or I'm sorry, negative 4x plus 2. And I'm going to find the GCF between those 2. So my smaller number between 4 and 2 is 2. And 2 can go into 4. So I'm going to take out a negative 2. The reason I'm taking out a negative is because my first term with these two terms is negative. I'm going to start my parentheses and I'm going to divide each term by -2. So -4x divided by -2 is 2x. A +2 divided by -2 is a -1. Oh my gosh, look at this, y'all. Inside my parentheses is the same thing. In the first parentheses is a 2x minus 1. And the second set of parentheses is a 2x minus 1. You have got to have that every single time you factor by trinomial. That is a checking point. If you don't get the same thing, you did something wrong. So to write, my final answer is I'm going to take that 2x minus 1, okay, which is the GCF between the terms. Okay. My second parentheses are going to be the GCFs that I took out from each of those. So there's going to be x minus 2. My last and final step is I'm going to bring down that GCF that I originally took out, which is a 3. And here is my final answer for factoring a trinomial. I started out in standard form, and now I have finished in intercept form. If I were to graph this, standard form, I could find my y-intercept. Intercept form, I could find my two x-intercepts.